Rush told me to advertise the Discord server more, so links in the description, go join the Discord. So, a day before I uploaded my recent pay-to-win and pay-to-lose skins video, I made a community post where I mentioned another creator that also made a video on Forsaken's pay-to-win skins. This video is, questionable with its choices. The video in question is by Tzvdim. TZVDim. Whatever. I'll be calling them Dim for simplicity in this video. Now, with this very topic being one of my first videos to get popular, I thought I should be the one to ruthlessly make fun of this video and rip it to shreds. Now, before we get into the good stuff, there's a few things I should mention. First, and this should be obvious, don't harass Dim. I'm gonna be making fun of them a lot in this video, but none of it is serious, and my opinions are purely based on the video itself and not the creator. Apparently, I've even watched some of Dim's video in the past, even if I have no recollection of actually watching them, but this isn't meant to be mean-spirited, and none of you should be mean-spirited towards them, however bad their takes may be. And second, there comes the issue with hypocrisy. So sure, I've made videos on this topic, so I could be more qualified to talk about this, but that also means I've done the exact same thing. So what makes me different from them? Well, I think there's two key differences between my videos and Dim's. For one, I repeatedly state that none of it really matters in the end, and most advantages are still minor at the end of the day, and I purely just want to analyze it as I find the topic interesting. Dim, on the other hand, treats these advantages very enthusiastically, like he's trying to tell people that you should buy these skins and they make you play better, which is not the way you should be going about it. Now, the other difference is that I cover every skin I can think of, so I'd say I'm excused from mentioning minor things because, well, I mention every minor thing I can think of. Dim goes out of their way to handpick a few skins that they consider pay to win, and I feel a bit inclined to laugh at their choices. You either mention everything you can think of, or only the notable examples. If you pick something in between, you're bound to get ridiculed. Now, because I've been stalling for too long, and a lot of you don't have the attention span to sustain any longer of an intro, let's just jump into this.
The skins in Forsaken are often considered to be purely cosmetic, but what if I told you that some skins actually give you big gameplay advantages?
Okay, why does this guy have like the most deadpan monotone voice ever? Like, I know this is like about the video itself, but I'm bored just listening to this guy. Please have a bit more emotion in your voice. I know this is like analytical, but you sound like you're a text-to-speech, bro.
In this video, I'll be going over the most pay-to-win skins in Forsaken from worst to best.
What the fuck does that mean? Worst to best? Okay, if they're all pay-to-win, then you can't call any of them the worst, because they're all better than default.
First off, we have the weirdly strict Cool Kid skin. This skin is relatively cheap, only costing $700.
Okay, so he lists the price and his opinion on how expensive it is for every single skin in this video. Why? Why? It's so much filler. It just, like, I know the pacing in my videos is also kind of garbage. I don't add in filler just to ruin the pacing even further. It cannot be that difficult to get to 8 minutes for the mid-roll ads, my guy.
The advantage of this skin is that it has no voice lines for every single ability. Here's an example.
Okay, but like, what about Savior, who also doesn't have any voice lines for most abilities other than pizza delivery? What about that? You're an idiot, Noli, also doesn't have voice lines. Why didn't you mention that?
This almost never helps. People always have their eyes on you, so this doesn't provide a massive advantage.
What if they're doing generators, Dim? What if they're doing one of the main mechanics of the game that a lot of people are incentivized to do because of the huge amount of rewards it gives you? What about that?
Either way, this skin provides little to no advantage, so I'm giving it the 14th place.
Okay, so keep in mind, guys, Cool Kid having no voice lines, making almost all of his abilities harder to telegraph and dodge, that's not really useful. So it's last. So everything above now is more useful than every single one of Cool Kid's abilities being less telegraphed.
but they get recolored to be gray. This is mainly good for the sentry since you can camouflage it with walls. This can be useful for hiding the sentry in plain sight and catching the killers off guard.
So, this is apparently more of an advantage than all of your abilities being less telegraphed. I don't know if you guys play Builderman, because I almost never see Buildermans, but generally, when you place your sentry, you don't really want it to be hugging a wall, especially not a very small one like the example he's giving here. Not to mention the fact that the moment the sentry starts shooting, it starts flashing. There's a bullet flash every time it shoots. If you put it in optimal sentry spots, you won't get use out of them being gray. And if you put them in spots specifically taking advantage of them being gray, they're both much less optimal sentry spots than if you just put them somewhere good, and they'll be revealed immediately the second they start shooting. What's the point?
Next up, we have the classic 1x1x1x1 skin.
Who the fuck says the entirety of 1x, 1x, 1x1? Who... In a video, who does that?
What's special about it is that it's a very dark skin and doesn't have some of the default effects. This makes it a little more difficult to see you from far away, which is useful when people are trying to spot you.
Okay, but what about Timeless 1x, who also doesn't have the high saturation filter and is therefore harder to see for the same reason? What about that?
Either way, this skin provides a minor but somewhat good advantage.
That's so wordy for no reason. Minor but somewhat good. What's the point of saying all that?
But it also buffs the gun. When you use the one-shot ability, the gun is very silent.
Dude, it is barely any quieter at all. The click is already really hard to notice. This doesn't matter. It matters so little that even after I found out about this, I didn't include it in my pay to win and pay to lose skins video, because who cares? Chance's gun click is already extremely silent. You're beating a dead horse. No, this never matters.
Visible hitboxes can expose your location.
Oh, visible hitboxes? You mean the thing that 90% of the players that are serious about improving at this game have enabled? Yeah, okay, sure.
And then again, this skin is much harder to see, so this basically gives two advantages.
Who the fuck cares?
But visible hitboxes kind of ruin it.
Yeah, the thing that basically everyone has enabled.
And both become almost completely black. This makes the sentry much easier to hide on darker maps. It's also much harder to see it from far away, while the Y2K sentry is still somewhat visible.
Why would you not just mention this along with Y2K? You're calling it pay to win for the exact same reason, which you'll see later on. He clumps the pay to win skins with us for a similar reason together into one entry. Why wouldn't you do that with these two? What's the point? You want me to point out the fact that you don't play Builderman at all twice?
Not to mention that this is one of the best killer abilities, so this is a very useful advantage.
Okay, calling Digital Footprint like one of the best killer abilities is a pretty bold claim. Like, we got Behead, we got Raging Pace, we got Corrupt Nature, we got 404 Error, we got Entanglement, we got Observant, we got Nova. I don't know about that one.
Either way, this may seem like a useless advantage.
This may seem like a useless advantage. You mean most of the things you talk about in this video?
The reason they're both here is because they share the same advantage. In comparison to other skins, they both have a different animation when killing a survivor. However, the kill animations end slightly faster than the default ones.
What about the fact that Betrayed 1x has voice lines and makes it easier for you to tell when he's using specific abilities? What about that? Entanglement becomes so much more telegraphed. You conveniently forget to mention that Betrayed 1x gains voice lines.
It is much more visible from far away compared to the default pizza.
So you know how Elliot has the passive that makes his pizza constantly glow? You know that? Also, why mention Mercurial but not Cashier and Supermarket, who also have a chance to throw items that are even bigger than the egg you mentioned here?
From what I've tested, it also has a slightly bigger hitbox.
I doubt that's true, and if it is, I don't think anyone cares.
This helps a lot when healing people, especially those in the middle of a chase.
Even if the hitbox is bigger, I don't think it'll make or break if you miss or hit. Because the pizza hitboxes are like kind of weird. So usually if you miss with default, you're gonna miss with Mercurial. So I don't think this makes any difference.
The subspace strip mine also gets changed. The subspace strip mine is now entirely black around the edges and the centerpiece is white. For reference, this is the default one. This makes it a lot harder to notice, which makes it easier to surprise killers.
Okay, what about the Schmuck skin who has a trip mine that doesn't glow even when it's revealing itself? I think that's a lot harder to notice than it's black and white now.
But this skin is best on darker maps since both the skin and trip mine are much less visible there.
You know what's better for darker maps? Schmuck. Cause her trip mines don't glow ever.
This skin makes it easier to surprise killers with the subspace trip mine.
You just use the same exact clips over and over again. I mean, I know I reuse clips too, but like, I reuse clips as background footage, not to showcase what I'm trying to say.
What's special about it is that it turns 007 and 7 fully grey except for his hat. This is actually pretty beneficial for this survivor whose main aspect is hiding.
Okay, I'm fine with you mentioning Dummy, but what about Magic Ninja? What about Magic Ninja, who is almost completely black, which arguably benefits from invisibility even more, and also has a custom cool GUI sound that's harder to hear. So it's arguably even more pay to win than Dummy is. But what about that? You mentioned Dummy, but skip over Magic Ninja. Is because you don't actually know about it. You haven't actually done your research, and you're just spewing out the most popular examples to get clicks. Is that it? Sorry, hold on. This is getting too personal. I just want to reiterate. I'm being too harsh on purpose to be funny. I don't actually have anything against this guy. Go watch this after, I guess. Even if I am brutally and ruthlessly making fun of it right now.
One of the things it does is changing the gashing wound ability. When used, Jason stalls for a moment, then unleashes spikes that rapidly deal damage. This can be very useful since it makes guests unable to get a free block without taking damage. Also, if you time it correctly, you can stall slate skin noobs and deal damage once it ends.
Okay, so before I would be inclined to agree with you, as I have actually gotten use out of that before, but they've since changed the hit times of that, and you actually show it in your video right now because you have the hit markers enabled. But instead of all 4 last hits being at the end, it's only 3, and 2 hits happen at the normal times. So now it hardly even matters at all. Which, yeah, it still can matter, but to say it's more pay to win than Dummy 007 is a bold claim.
These skins all have custom swing animations, along with different swing sounds. All of these sounds are way quieter or shorter compared to the default skin.
So you seem to have conveniently forgotten to mention that Ness has a sound cue when he's using fried chicken, which the normal skin doesn't. And you also seem to forget to mention that Sunderland has a bright flashlight that makes them a lot easier to see in dark areas, when you seem to make a pretty big deal about things being harder to see in the dark in your earlier entries, like with Y2K TAF. So why are we suddenly just not mentioning that Sunderland is easier to see? Yeah, you don't want to overcomplicate things. Clearly, you already are by explaining how to get every skin, how expensive they are, and what your opinions on it, the costs are. So, why not at least just like throw it in and be like, it's not a complete direct advantage. The way you're explaining this is like, oh my god, guys, these skins give you a direct advantage. They're so good. You need to get them. Why not then explain? But it's not a complete advantage, as there are some drawbacks, however minor. Why not mention that? Not minor at all in the case of Betrayed 1X.
Either way, this skin is game changing for Jason, so I'm giving it the first place.
Well, okay, so I agree with most of what you said. I don't know about game changing though. I think if you're good at Jason, you won't really need Pursuer. And if you're bad at Jason, I don't think it'll help you that much either. Jason is just kind of completely based on how good you are as a killer. So this is kind of just a quick, silly, fun video because I saw this video in my recommended and couldn't resist making this after the idea popped in my head. 'Cause I am kind of the pay to win, pay to lose skins guy. My first video on the topic did pretty well, so yeah, I thought it'd be cool to make one of these. Again, just to reiterate, I don't have anything against TZVDim. Don't harass them or anything. I'm purely acting it up for the video, and I don't actually think that harshly of his video. It's flawed, but it does at least analyze a few of the skins decently well, if through bad pacing. The link to this video will be in the description, and you know the deal. I gotta say the generic YouTuber things. Like, subscribe, join my Discord server. It's gonna be in the description. Please do that. It's fun to talk to people. Please join this Discord. And yeah, see ya.